VP debate happened 2 nights ago, right? And during this debate, nobody knew what was going on. The media was selling that Walz is nervous, and the media was selling that J.D. Vance is not likable. Everybody was waiting for J.D. Vance to come in, to be an a-hole, to be a jerk, to be pompous, to be arrogant, to not be liked. This guy just thinks he knows it all. The audience is not going to like him.
And what was very interesting to happen is right now, we're not going to know what the bounce is for about a week and a half for real polls. But here's what we did find in early focus groups. The enthusiasm for J.D. Vance went up with Trump supporters. Why? Because we really didn't know him yet, but now we saw him in this context, and he did not come off as a jerk. He came off very presidential. And if you take a look, there were thousands of tweets by regular people. I was scanning through all kinds of stuff, Pat, that said, wow, I'm confident of him being president as a vice president if something should happen.
Yeah.
So that meant JD showed well to the Republican supporters who said, didn't see it this way, like what I see, you could even be the president, like it. But that's not going to move the independent voters yet. Okay, who won the debate? You know, we have the overnight opinion polls. It was 65-35, anybody you look at. You know, if you can find a couple very liberal stations that would say, oh, it was 50-50. Yeah, right. Even CNN and ABC were saying, well, this is 65-35 according to the polls we're seeing. And that's what came out of it. So what was really interesting about this is JD didn't make any gaffes, and he was unflappable. He tried to go up against the moderators. Once again, it was 3 against 1, 2 moderators and Walz up against Vance, and similar to what Trump faced. And so I would argue that the moderators, if you look at what was out there, even did worse than ABC. They caught more heat, especially Margaret Brennan, she was the one in the pink, caught more heat from citizens about the way they conducted themselves.
Now, after his performance on this debate that took place, do you think now JD is the #1 draft pick for 2028?
Well, a lot of people were saying that because Ann Coulter put out a very snarky tweet that I think she may want to pull back.
She won't.
And she
ain't pulling nothing
She
back.
said, J.D. Vance looking great. What's the life expectancy of a 78-year-old in a high-pressure job? Which isn't a very nice thing to say. And what she's saying is, I like J.D. Vance as my president if something happens to Trump. But there was a lot of people that came out, and you saw Vance 28. So the Republicans, a lot of people are going to be running on that. But Vance is definitely a draft pick. Is he #1? Right now, if he becomes VP and shows well, how can he not be #1 coming out of that?
You know what is impressive, though? What is impressive, the fact that while she could have chosen Shapiro, who's formidable, who carries himself well, who's tough, who's strong, well-spoken, right? She chooses him. And while he could have chosen anybody else, right? He could have chosen, you know, and I'm not saying, I'm not going to give name. He could have chosen a couple other guys, but he chose somebody that called him out before.
Oh, horrible. Call him Hitler.
Exactly. To now put him there to show that I'm okay with somebody that can have moments bigger than me. Because Vance yesterday, 2 days ago, was all about Vance. He shined.
Big time.
He shined in a big way to the point when even liberals were sitting there saying, I was not expecting to like this guy. Yep. I ended up liking this guy.
J.D. Vance won this debate hands down. The dude is a cool, calm, collected sniper. He's basically touting all of Trump's policies without being abrasive or aggressive or name calling. He's so smooth. I'm telling you. So, you know, the VP debate, with the conversation that we had with Vivek was, does this really even matter? Well, there's been 2, possibly 3 assassination attempts on Donald Trump. So I would argue that, God forbid, fill in the blank, ...
Oh, don't even.
Yeah, J.D. Vance is there. Meanwhile, could you imagine Tim Walz sitting in the Oval Office? Are you kidding me? I mean, this guy is giving me Matt Foley, Chris Farley vibes from SNL, living in a van down by the river. He walks in there, he's like, excuse me, what's going on around here now? Listen, I'm friends with school shooters, and there's nothing wrong with that. We can't be villainizing migrants. Let them in. It doesn't matter who they are. Let them in the country. By the way, when I was in Tiananmen Square, And I was at the Hong Kong protest. Mr. Walls, you weren't there. I stand corrected. That's my bad. I got some misinformation. Anyway, you know when Joe Biden...
I'm a knucklehead.
You know when Joe Biden is doing that face like this?
Yeah, that lost face.
I've adapted that face as well. It's the
So
Kamala
what are you
look.
saying? So you're saying
I'm just saying he is so unequipped, unprepared. I mean, I don't know how that guy became mayor of Minnetonka, much less governor of Minnesota. You want that guy in the Oval Office? I'm good, PBD.
Right. Okay.
If you enjoy this content, please consider subscribing to my channel to stay up to date with future videos. Thank you for watching.